Welcome back to the West Ham Network for 5 things we've learned from the Everton game as West Ham finally picked up a win in the Premier League and as we welcome the truly toothless Everton side to the London Stadium. Both teams went into the game in abysmal form and as such share a place towards the foot of the table. The game was even called El Sacchio as both David Moyes and Frank Lampard have been tipped to be sacked from their respective jobs. But having downed Everton, West Ham have now risen to 15th in the table, despite plenty of teams still to play. It may not be a huge change, but it ends our barren run and allows David Moyes to start looking up the table once more. It was a game where both sides were lacking in confidence, and that definitely did transform into a nervy opening half. However, all the nerves were evaporated when Jarrod Bowen stole in behind, latching onto a flick and his lash past Jordan Pickford. Then just 7 minutes later, before the break, Mickey Antonio stole around a sliding James Tarkowski to power a ball into the box. Bowen once again in the right spot as he ran in to smash home from the inside the 6-yard box. Now, of course, before the game started, there was respectful tribute to the late, great David Gold, the West Ham owner who unfortunately passed away a few weeks ago. But as we will get started in today's version of the 5 things that we did learn from the Everton victory as West Ham walked away 2-0. Now, first up, Aguerd. Is he the Rolls Royce? And it was a game where, you know, the ball fell to Frank Lampard's side, 68% possession on the ball. And it was Nayef Aguerd who was the busiest man in the stadium. Now, people will take that as a bad or a good, but he was the Rolls Royce in the middle of the park. No ifs or buts about it. He dealt with every single aerial onslaught that was put his way. He was communicating left, right, and centre with his fellow partners in the middle of the park, in the central defence, Ogbonna and Kurt Zuma. Some of the stats from his game was 71 touches of the ball, 83% pass accuracy. He helped things ticking over despite our lack of possession. However, it was his mammoth 11 clearances that truly stood out as everything that made its way into the box was removed with finesse. And when I say finesse, I mean clear-cut finesse. He paired that with his 5 tackles, and of the 12 duels he would compete in, he only lost just 2 alongside his partner, Kurt Zuma. This marked a success rate of 83% as he foiled Everton on every occasion. We have got an absolute beast, a Rolls Royce of a central defender, and I look forward to many more appearances in the West Ham shirt. Next up, as we learn from the second thing from the game, was Bowen form. Now, few players have typified West Ham's drop-off of form, unlike last season's form of Jarrod Bowen. The player was on fire last year. He was one of Premier League's outstanding wingers last term. He registered 18 goals and 13 assists across all competitions and finished the campaign with his first England call-up. This season, however, the 20-year-old has looked like a shadow of that player with just 6 goal involvements to his name before today. Or yesterday, before a ripple of debate prompted by his omission from Gareth Southgate's squad in the World Cup in Qatar. Some say he played himself off of the plane, but with West Ham off rock bottom only on goal difference, and with David Moyes' job seemingly hanging by a thread, the former Hull City man stepped forward with a reminder of why, even from his position wide on the right flank, he had previously been so effective as a spearhead of the West Ham attack. In the wake, him and his partner Danny Dyer announced that they were expecting twins, and Bowen scored twice with a pair of close-range finishes to lift West Ham and David Moyes out of the relegation zone with a first victory since October. Now, Moyes has not shied away from criticism of some of the old guard, stating that Bowen and Mickey Antonio in particular failed to come close to replicating the output of seasons past. And with just 15 goals in 19 league games, you can see why he would come up for some much needed criticism. Now, next up is this man, Emerson Palmieri's inclusion into the team. And it could be down to the fact that West Ham have been playing 4-4-2 as to the reason why he wasn't included. But the return of 3-4-3 saw Emerson come back into the side, and it was probably the former Chelsea's defender's best outing in a West Ham shirt in my humble opinion. The Italian international played a role in the first goal, with his cross eventually finding its way to Jarrod Bowen following the flick on from Zuma's in the build-up. Shortly after, Emerson's cross gave Antonio's a golden chance to make it 2-0, only for Antonio to steer across goal and wide. Emerson came close himself to a goal of his own to make it 3-0 in the second half, playing a give and go with Benrahma before firing a shot on goal, tipped well onto the bar by Pickford. The wing-back system allows Emerson and even the likes of Vladimir Coufal to get forward and make things happen, as well as permitting Bowen and Benrahma to become bigger with threats centrally. With Emerson showing what he can do going forward, sticking to the back three could be the best way forward for David Moyes' men. And also one big, massive shout out to the photographer from the game yesterday. If you have had a chance to have a look at some of the images, they are fantastic. And this one doesn't even do it justice. You need to go out and check it out on Palmieri's Instagram post. As we move on to the fourth point, which is the Ings and Scamacca effect. I thought Danny Ings came on as a substitute. Disappointed that he didn't start in the game, but he did come on and he held the ball up really well. He brought the midfield into the game. He got involved. He got stuck in. He wasn't scared to throw in a tackle. And what you actually saw was him getting in behind the defenders. And what that does is excite me for when Scamacca is fit. I think Scamacca will play wonderful in alongside this guy here. And I think this is an absolute gem of a signing by West Ham. Yes, he's 30 years old. Yes, he is not our Red Bull model type player, but he's got a lot of Premier League experience. And I think he knows how to play alongside a big target man and a player who plays deep and drifts in terms of Scamacca. So I think between the two of them, that will be an exciting prospect for the future. He got, like I said, you can see from that image there, getting stuck in all over the park when he came on. So an exciting prospect for the future in terms of Ings and Scamacca. And last but not least, is Moyes safe from the game? You know, he was under a lot of criticism. He desperately needed this game and this victory under his belt. In his post-match press conference, he quite clearly stated that he has been and will be backed by the board. So it makes you start to wonder, no matter the result, would Moyes have stayed at the club for the game after the Everton game? But I think what this result has done is given him a little bit more time in the role to try and change things around. But one thing we will know is if we have an Aguerd, Zuma and Ogbonna partnership in the back line, he decides to change formation. He rests Souček. He gives Benrahma a run out. And we have players performing who haven't been performing as of late, then that will give West Ham a very, very good chance moving forward. That has been your 5 things we learnt from the West Ham Everton game. If you're new around here, go and hit that cheeky subscribe button, support the channel out as much as you can. Join DJ Russie B tomorrow, where you will be getting all the player stats and we will be doing the player ratings as well. Take it easy, and of course, come on you Irons.
Oh,